Hey there, I'm here at my studio in Oceanside and wanted to share a new painting that I'm starting. It's a sailing scene of a Hobie 16 in Catalina, and I haven't started painting. I have done quite a bit of work on it though, and I just want to share what that is. This is the image that I chose. I've already cropped it, and I created a grid pattern. And the grid is so that I can translate this to the canvas. So we have, the drawing's about a third done, but I'm starting with the subject and working my way out. There will be some changes I've decided on already. I'm making the rudders. The rudders are going to be a black carbon fiber rudder. It just was standing out with too much contrast between the rudder and the water, and I just didn't want that to be the main focal point. What I do want to be a focal point is Jeff's arm. Some other Hobie cat paintings recently. This one is from, I think, the same day sailing. Yeah, this is from the same day, I believe. And this is the study I did for it. It's got the mismatched sails. It's the main sail is the rainbow pattern, and I'm not sure what they called the one on the jib. That's not, I don't think that's the Tequila Sunrise. But so there's the study I did for it, and I'll show you the finished painting here. So here's the finished painting, and I ended up matching the sails on this one. So I still have that same decision to make on this painting I'm starting now, whether to match the sails or to keep them mismatched. So I'm leaning towards mismatched. It's just more authentic, more accurate to the type of sailing I do on the Hobie cats. We buy used Hobies and take parts off of them and combine them to the boat that is being sailed. So here I'm at. This is my favorite. I think my favorite part is as this is being sketched, identifying the different parts of the boat, identifying how things are connecting, and this is what some experience. The experience comes into play. It's like, yes, like I know what that is. I know how that connects. You understand it. And some of these parts are hardly visible in the image. They're in shadows, but you know, pull from memory. I think it's important to be painting things that you understand. Otherwise, you're just faking it, and people who do understand will know that you're out of your league. I do want to understand what I'm getting into before I start painting. I don't want to be trying to figure stuff out in paint. I want it to be pretty mapped out, and that gives me the freedom to throw paint around and have more fun. Is already knowing what I'm about to tackle. So that's where I'm at with this, and I'll keep sharing the progress as I go. Quick sketch I did down in Baja a few weeks ago, and by their nature these plein air paintings move quick, so you can only put in so much information and detail, but it just does pay to know the subject, so you can infer what these parts are. So now I'm ready to get started. putting some paint down on this, and I left a lot of the grid where there's gonna be really dark colors. That'll hide that, but pulled them out of the lighter colors. Really into it. So I've resolved issues. I have a plan. I know where I want to go with it, and I have a really good reference. So I'm feeling good about this piece. And use some burnt umber and lay that out real quick. All right, so just a little bit of burnt umber on there. I've not experimented with a lot of different colors for a pick out. Burnt umber was introduced to me. It works great. I enjoy it. But when you're doing the burnt umber, basically you're going to establish your values, and it simplifies the process because all you're going for is values, and once those are established, the picture will look really nice. So here's my burnt umber pick out lay-in, and I'm going to leave it there. There's some elements I'm going to add actually. I'm going to put an island in the background. I'm going to look through some of my photo references and make sure it's appropriate. Maybe I already have an idea of what island to put in there. I'm going to put Shiprock. But yeah, that's that. Remember, this is going to be my focal point. I'm going to have a lot of contrast right there. There's no way to hide that hull. I usually only use 1 or 2 brushes in a painting, so these 2 brushes will carry me through to the end. These are rosemary, ivory, long flat. It's a stiff brush that gives me a nice sharp edge. Will be to load up my palette with all my colors, and I'll walk you through that, and we'll keep going. So I have my palette laid out: titanium white, cad yellow light, cad yellow medium, cad orange, cad red light, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, and then I have some convenience grays out, a cool, a medium, and a warm gray, just for convenience. So that's my palette. You know, you could pull just the primaries, you know, being here, here, and here. But I like having the secondaries in between there to keep my colors pure. So I'm gonna start mixing up some color piles for the sails, the sky. I'm gonna recognize some basic colors within the painting, so I can look down and just see how these colors react with each other, and before I even begin these big fills of color, I know that it's all gonna work well together. There's gonna be colors from the sails and the hull and the people reflecting down in the water. And I've mixed up colors. So we have here, these are sky colors and sail colors, I want all these colors ready to go so that as I'm painting one sail, I have colors from the other sail that are going to be reflecting into it. All these colors are going to be reflected into the water. I want there to be a harmony. If I pre-mix my colors, and if something really stands out where it just doesn't belong, I can recognize that early. So I have the sails filled in. I mentioned before, like, how can I make this better than the photo? So in the photo, there doesn't show a lot of the curvature of the sail. So you'll see how much cooler and darker it is up here, and it blends to this really light, warm color. So that gives the feeling of the sail curving out, so there's more sunlight hitting down here. And then same thing going this way. You'll see it warms up out at the end. It gets warmer out there. So that helps give the feeling of the curve, along with those shadow patterns following the curve of the sail. I'm not too worried about getting likenesses. So I'm happy with where things are going. So I'm gonna get it to the hull and fill in some of these bigger areas, the rudder, the trampoline, and probably go ahead and maybe get the mast in. I might wait though. I might wait till the sails are dry so I can actually lay a straight edge over it. Yeah, I'll do that. The sky and the water. I'm looking forward to doing the water and bringing in a lot of these colors into the reflection. That will really tie the boat in to the scene. And so there's gonna be a lot of coverage happening, and then the painting slows down a bit. You're gonna be going into rigging and some finer tuning. I wanted to make sure that these two sails, because they're mismatched. You know, you have the rainbow sail and that other sail. I wanted them to harmonize more in the painting than they do in the photograph. So I'm gonna take a break, let some time pass. I'll come back and have a look at it. It'll give me a fresh view. I'm gonna clean my brushes and palette knife, and I'm not gonna clean the palette. I'm gonna leave it just as is so that I can access those colors tomorrow when I come back to continue work. So I'm starting to weave in some other color into this water. It's very almost monochromatic. It's just these two blues. So I'm gonna weave in some variety, some greens, and create some, I guess, dither you could call it. Just some texture and variety. And then I'll also weave in some grays, some reflections of the sky, and just create a little bit of interesting variety and movement in this background. I don't want it to be distracting, but actually, to me, that just that bright blue was distracting. Actually competing with the vibrancy and the... I like having the reference available. I like to invent. I like to make choices based on how the painting is coming together. I'm not copying every little shape in the photo, but when I'm at a bit of a loss, that's where my eye glances to and take a reference of nature's pattern caught in a still frame. There's quite a bit of green worked into there. I'll come through here with more care in a bit with a different brush. So I'm working the greens, and next I'll come in with the grays. Well, I'm gonna let this whole painting set up probably about 5 days or so, maybe more, so that I can lay a straight edge down and get that mast and some of the rigging, and be able to even rest my palm in certain areas to get these details. I tried to put in that island, was not successful, took it out. I still feel like that horizon needs to be broken up. So I'm gonna probably play around with a couple ideas. And it could be something as simple as just something off in the background. Alright, I am putting in this island. I pulled up a couple photo references. Bird Rock, which is a private little, like I think a 1.5 acre island right at the entrance of Two Harbors. And I used that reference to do something. It was a total failure. But now, just kind of going from memory and making it just an impression of it. It's not like the portrait of an island, but it is just the idea of the island being there. And this is actually way more successful than what I was doing earlier, which was more literal. Alright, yeah, I'm going to leave it just as is. And then I'm going to break the horizon up here. In my reference, there's a powerboat coming in. And I think I'm going to just roll with it. Sorry about all the bouncing around. I'm coming back to it after, it's been about 5 days. The light colors are still wet. That's fine. It's going to be tacky enough in the light colors, and then the darker colors are dry. So I'm gonna get in my rigging and finish this painting up. There are, you know, holidays in the painting where I didn't feel comfortable getting in there yet because everything was wet. So the darker colors are dry. I'll be able to like you know, put my pinky on some of these and support myself as I go through it. And I'm gonna get this whitewater done. Again, rigging. I'm not gonna put the numbers, the logo. I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna put the name on the hull. I am gonna add some dither, some noise to some of these really bright, stark areas like this hull, and you know, maybe even in the sail. I put some telltales in there, some, you know, discoloration. Some, you know, I see, like, as a reference, there's a little, like, a fold starting to, like, you know, not really a luff, but just a little bit of a fold at the end of the sail. All that stuff like that to break it up. Some of the long hard lines, I want to soften some areas of that, break those lines up. I can do that when I'm doing the rigging. And then in the water, I'm going to try to combine some of these. You know, we got a lot of repetitive, thin, stringy lines, and I want to turn some of those into shapes. And now my palette, I did not clean it before I stepped away from this painting, and I did not work on any other paintings since. So on my palette, I'll have some wet colors. Great. I'm gonna save those. I'm gonna, you know, dabble around, find the piles that are still wet, and I will save them. And then whatever colors are dry, these will get scraped, and then I'll have a clear area of my palette to work with to mix any new colors. I'll pull a lot of the existing colors and mix those around, but this palette is not workable as it is. There's some dry, some wet, and really no fresh area to mix new colors. So this would be very distracting and difficult. It'd be like a piano where some of the keys work and some of them don't. It's just out of control. And give myself a fresh start here. So at this stage of the painting, I am 99% done, but I always come back after a few days or more and reevaluate, and usually that last little 1% change is the most important. It's nice to stand back, step away. Sometimes we look at the mirror and get a fresh view of it in reverse, which is usually helpful to notice things that you didn't notice in the painting. It's almost like you're seeing it for the first time. So that's one of the little tricks I do, but nothing like a few more days. Come back to it. I'm enjoying it. It's got a lot of vibrancy, of course. It's hard not to with that reference, but it's also not too obnoxious. It gives me that same feeling from the day, from what I can remember, and the joy of sailing the Hobie Cat. I have a lot of memories to draw from that I can use for my own reference and comparisons, and if it doesn't feel right, then I'm missing the point. I want others to be able to feel that moment. Is it better than the photo? I hope so. I hope the changes I made make it a better image and give it more feeling. Things that I like is I like that the rudder is not so bright. It gives more emphasis to the classic Hobie hull and doesn't take away from the sails in the hull, which I think should get priority. I like that the horizon got broken up, and the reference to bird rock there is important for the location itself. That marine layer came off the photo, and that's really accurate. The water is I think I like it. It's playful. It catches the spray and whitewater. If I painted this piece again, I would have done all of this work with a bigger brush and had it more juicy. I think the most contrast is where I want it. I could break up this line here a bit, and maybe that's something that I will do in a few days. So the way I could break it up is maybe soften the edge, put something intersecting it. I don't have to follow the photo. I could put a sheet, a little rope or string, just something to break it up. I soften the edges of the sail because there was a ton of contrast here, and it gives it some more movement. Again, I'll step away when it's dry. I'll have it photographed professionally and put it in a frame, and it'll end up on one of the walls here. Alright, there we go. So I knocked that back quite a bit. That brings the focus back to that little area that I was intending. I do think this is the brightest white in the sail, besides maybe some of these little highlights, but this is the brightest white in the sail here, contrasting with his fist. That was the intention from the beginning. That was distracting, that straight hard line between the top edge of the hull and the bottom of the trampoline, that shadow. So I broke that up a bit. On the opposite end, I think I'll lighten up the bottom of the hull as well, at least in this area. So I'm gonna sign it now. I forgot about that part. That's the fun part. Often I will, if I know I'm done with like a dark area, I'll just go right in and, sorry, I had to step back to grab this, but I'll go right in and just scratch in my signature. And it's too late. Yeah, it's too late for that now because that paint's been drying. But so next best thing is to mix in some liquid. I don't use liquid while I'm painting, but I'll come back and mix some paint with liquid to go over an area. So what it does, it makes the paint very slimy. So it'll slide right over the existing wet paint as a topical layer. It won't mix with the paint that's under it. It won't drag the paint, the existing paint along with it. So it's very, very slippery, slimy. It'll glide right on top. And it also helps the paint not be so sticky and globby, and you can come up with nice lacy lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my little autograph right here. And now it hangs on the wall here at the gallery. I think it looks good next to its sister painting. I have a lot of different Catalina pieces, along with some of the Baja plein air. Nice combo here. And a beautiful location. This is Oceanside Harbor, Southern California. My gallery and studio. And this is where I work. And my boat is out here in the harbor on a slip nearby. We're next to the yacht club and some good surf, good restaurants. Great place to visit.